SBA EIDL 10k grant updates, SBA EIDL loan increases reconsideration. What is all happening right now? There's something going on that you should pay very close attention to, and what could be happening in the future here, enabling you to get the funds if possible. And we're also going into 0% interest for 6 to 18 months and up to 150, if not 250,000 in interest-free funding. As I just said, 0%, literally free money you can be given, using it as good debt as opposed to bad debt, being able to help with expenses, growing and expanding your business, scaling it, alternatives up to 2 million incredibly fast with or without collateral, no hard credit checks. Which ones are hard credit checks? You have no doc, low doc, medium doc, high documentation funding programs, and much more. Hi, my name is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. I'm an expert business loan broker, which is another way of saying that I understand how to look at, evaluate, analyze documentation. And I can take that off of your hands so you don't have to stress out about who you're giving it to, and somebody who makes it a lot easier for you. This is why it's best that you consult with an expert. And then I'm able to connect you with the best lenders and underwriters. And I know how to underwrite a file based upon what those right underwriters are looking for and much more. And I've helped out a lot of businesses in different industries get the right type of financing strategically with the right roadmap and longer term partnership for success. And I'll be getting into some of those alternatives on the share screen. I'll actually be showing you a document that I've put together that I may have for you down below. So right now, what's happening, there's a lot of things going on with SBA Administrator Guzman and the House Committee, them coming together for a meeting here soon on what they should be doing, and if Congress should be taking the remaining amount of money that's been putting into the EIDL loan program, the 10K grant program, and so forth. And if there's no money being moved, Congress could potentially just completely remove it. And right now, they're not looking at small businesses. They're not even batting another eye at them. They have other priorities, other obligations, other things going on that they're focused on, But from what I've been hearing from a few people recently that I've helped out, others that are coming to me, some of them are saying they just recently got their 10K grant. So it's happening a little bit sporadically. I've seen people emailing me, letting me know these things are happening. I've seen them in some of my comments, and some of them in this month, last month, and it's been like 2 or so years. And so we're yet to see if that'll happen in disbursement consistently now for the remainder of the year. Maybe it comes in a short burst. And as this meeting upheld and what's going on there, hopefully something great comes about. And even with the increases, the reconsideration, all of that, the loan forgiveness, we know there's a new SBA loan portal. I'm not going to be getting into that in this video, but this is as much as you should know, that there is that meeting that should be happening on how to determine what they do moving forward. And if this does help, there's some great news coming your way. So I don't want to get too wrapped up in the whole SBA EIDL loan world, because let's be honest, as a business owner, and I run multiple businesses. No, I'm not just a guy on YouTube in front of a video just telling you some information, and trying to market you or sell you. I don't even like the word sell. I come from an academic background. I went to school for sociology, was a Division I soccer player, and then I went into chemical engineering. Thereafter, business administration, I found out that would be best suited, as well as for the market in the future, and what I was more interested in doing. Not that the math or the systems or the chemistry stuff was difficult, because I love those subjects, my favorite. But aside from that, like many of you trying to start your business or have been in business for some time, trying to find the best solution, which I'll be jumping into the share screen. So hang in there with me, which, by the way, let me know down below in the comments. Have you struggled getting an SBA EIDL loan, the 10K grant? How about PPP loans, which are not available at this moment? How about the up to $26,000 per employee refundable payroll tax credit? That'll be expiring in April of 2024 or April of 2025, depending on certain quarters and year eligibility. But I'll leave more information of that service down below. That's something to jump on before you miss out. And don't be that person who's sitting on your couch later wondering, what if, or I should have submitted the documents when I had the time to, but there goes 2-3 weeks or so forth, and much more. So I'll be jumping into these services. What I do want you to know, though, my backdrop may look a bit different. I'm sitting on this race car looking chair. It's not my favorite. Guess what? I'm at my younger brother's place. Why am I here? Because I'm watching over his dog. He has a corgi. He's actually right outside the door. I can hear him moving around. and I'm here to take care of his house in the meantime while nobody else could. And I'm more than happy to do it. Usually he tells me, and I come over here and I take care of him and I feed him, I watch him, and I play with him. Of course, I let him outside, make sure he's doing everything. And I'm staying over here until tomorrow afternoon, and then evening I should be back home, hopefully tomorrow. Yeah. But aside from that, what I do want to jump into, I can go even longer into this. Let me get into the share screen and share with you guys some alternatives that you guys should be aware of, because what you need to know is it's not just about EIDL loans, 10K grants. And this is what I wanted to say. It's not just about that. It's about how can I have the right structure entity in my business, whether it's an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, 1099, 1040, 1120, whatever you're doing. How do I set myself up for future success? See, a lot of the times as a business owner, and I run multiple businesses, like I said, digital marketing agency, affiliate marketing businesses. I did an e-commerce hybrid of that. I have other ventures, and this is my main priority, and I funded those businesses. I wouldn't be doing this unless I've had experience myself doing it to some capacity at least. So what you need to know is you need to establish your business credit. There are the 3 C's of capital. And you're going to see a little bit about this when we go into the document, so bear with me. You have the cash flow, credit, collateral. Cash flow, revenue-based financing. We're looking at month-to-month bank statements. We can look at personal and business tax returns depending on those services, determine cash flow eligibility, profit and losses, balance sheets, and there's more things that I can gather and analyze myself and understand what you'd qualify for depending on that service. So do you have the cash flow that a private lender, a private investor will look for, an online bank loan lender for a term loan, an SBA loan lender, equipment lender, even at that point to get a specific amount? Do you have what you need? Even if it's a startup when you're getting equipment. Those are the things that you should be asking yourself, and I can help you along the way. Credit-based. Can we work on a 0% interest type of financing? We're going to get into that in a moment. How about personal/business funding, a startup loan, where yes, you will have to take it on your personal side momentarily, depending on how much you need, how much you can get approved for. But the bottom line, whether it goes on your personal or business, it depends on what time you have in your business as well as where you are. So there might be some flexibility when you put it on your personal side. Yes, it shows, it reports those timely payments on like the unsecured business loans or unsecured term loans advances, those merchant cash advance hybrids, which are not exactly that, and they don't report those timely payments in all cases a lot of the times. Then you have to think about where you are positioned in the market and say, well, I have to start somewhere, and I couldn't get another type of financing. I'm not doing a home equity loan or a home equity line of credit. I can't or don't want to do 401k RA financing. We can do a rollover account. We don't have stocks, bonds, mutual funds. We don't have all of these other things, financial guarantee bonds, mutual funds, whatever they are. If you don't or don't want to do that, then you have to understand where you have to begin. And if you don't have any of those 3, you don't even have collateral, which is the 3rd C. And a lot of these lenders may look for a specific requirement for or on the business, unless you're doing a home equity line of credit, home equity loan, cash out refinance, whatever it is you're doing there. But what you have to understand is if you don't have those 3, you have to focus on business credits and business credit towards vendor credits. If you have an EIN, great. We can work on business credit, vendor credit, purchasing tools and supplies. We can work on revolving credit lines as well with these 0% or just any other business credit cards, but you won't be optimizing your profile as much. So now let me go into this share screen. 1 second. So this document you are seeing may be down below in the description, but let's quickly go through it. There are so many different options, and what I see is best suited in the market, and each person will be different. So what I do want to say is, while this may be down below in the description, I also will leave a funding questionnaire. I may show you this at the end of the video, but what it is, it's a questionnaire that's very safe and secure, and you'll fill it out detail per detail. It'll land in my email, where then I will evaluate it, analyze it, and give you a proper response back via email on your best funding option and options. I'm a very cerebral, meticulous person. You'll understand why I do it this way. It's very energy and time efficient, very systematic, processed, and automation oriented. And when they say, the person who was always asking why in the business is usually that innovator or that creative, always asking out of the box, thinking questions, and just trying to shoot for the stars, which I'm like that as well, as all entrepreneurs should be and can be. But I'm also the how person. I'm the systems, the processes, the automation. If they asked you who's the silent partner and who is the one pulling the strings and doing a lot of the work on the back end, and you do see me on the front end because I know this is very helpful. I know my stuff in this market as well as others, and I don't overpromise, underdeliver. I've been in that 9 to 5 role before. I struggled for a long time. I had to go on unemployment, benefits again, food stamps. I felt very embarrassed. I couldn't help my family, literally. They were doing more of the heavy lifting at a point in my younger 20s. Was overpromised, underdelivered, had a 9 to 5 role, financial logistics. And I thought, do I go back to school to finish about another half a semester for another degree? Or do I go get more certifications? Because I had worked previously in manufacturing, construction. I had done warehousing in my younger 20s. I'm very well experienced and knowledge in these industries. And not just the person working in the financial role, but the actual person who was on the machine, the person who was in the field, who was having to build their way up, and then later getting into logistics and finance, working hard up here, having to move some media around, helping HP and Peace Health. We're one of the biggest contracting companies that got bought over. Unfortunately, I couldn't move up a higher role as I thought the person in front of me would have retired. That's a story for another time. May jump on this later on. But like many of you, I wanted to venture out and do my own thing. And throughout my journey, I just tried to go everywhere and anywhere. Later on when I was trying to apply, and that's not the right strategic approach. So let's go back into this document that we can now take a look at. Okay, right here it says, before you click through the application down below, and the reason I have it formatted this way, it's because I made another video that would make more sense why I told you to look for this document, but it may look like this. It may look different over time. It may not even be there, but look down below in the description. I told you about in the video you watched. Below are more of the qualifications for revenue-based funding and more services. P.S. You can scroll to the very bottom of this document to the conclusion part and locate the business funding questionnaire to get a highly personalized and customized email response on your best funding option and options with what you see below and more. Also, a free 6-step pre-approval lending checklist will be included for you. And I created this myself. I know through many experiences what is best and what isn't. So you're better prepared before you go into an application and you ask, well, I got declined because I had what? High balances. I had too many inquiries. I had late payments. Okay, I think that I'm just going to remove one of these things and that'll solve all problems. That's not how it works, Mr. or Mrs. And so you have to stay plugged in and knowing what you're getting yourself involved with. So this, again, let's go through this. This is more on the revenue-based side, but let me go over this and we'll come back to it in a moment and get into this 0% interest. So down here, let me move up here, type this in this way. Right over here, where you see credit line hybrid, and I made a specific video on this service as well. I may link it to you down below, but this is where you can get business credit cards at 0% interest for 6 to 18 months. Now, I'll go into the qualifications, what credit requirements are required, but keep this in mind. If you don't qualify for this and you don't have the cash flow minimum requirements, a lot of these lenders want a minimum of $3,000 and above. I'll show you some other solutions. Collateral, you don't have the collateral, or you might have to be dependent on family and friends, or you can use somebody else who can apply with their own individual credit and take on the debt on their credit, but will trust you and be able to take that and say, hey, I'm going to help them with this. They have a need for that. I have an individual here who is more than happy to help me because my credit isn't where it needs to be. So down below, let's go again. So the credit line hybrid, you will want to skip this until you get a 700 plus and above on all 3 consumer credit bureaus. Your credit score must be 700 and above to do a credit card stacking program. Now, that's not to say you couldn't get a business credit card if you didn't have a 700. Yes, you may be able to get something at 650, 680, et cetera, et cetera. We can go on and on. But the point of this is getting you multiple amount at a high limit. And if you just go and apply randomly and you think that just by applying online to certain cards or you go in person, you're not maximizing that relationship or you don't know what to say or how to do it on your own behalf, then you could be losing potentially 50 to 100,000. I see a lot of people every single day who go and get a personal loan. This is not even on cards, but go get a personal loan through a bank if they can or can't qualify. Maybe they get something for like 10K, but over here I have the experts. I have the best lenders, myself and my team. And not everybody's created the same. So you might hear ads, you might hear it from other people, but that's not all of the same stuff. And so you have to be careful and knowing, and I'm going to show you these options in that questionnaire specifically when you submit it. But when you turn to a bank, they might get you 10K, 20K. Oh, yes, but I needed 50K. Or, okay, I needed 10, 20K. But over here you go, they're approving me for 50,000. How? I don't even want to bother with, I didn't even go in, or I did. But over here, they're getting me 50K. So what are the contingencies? What are the parameters around that? See, again, I'm a very meticulous person, so I don't make decisions based on just emotion. I don't just feed into, if I had this money, then this is what it would do to this. The result of this would make me go on vacation and help me spend my time more with my family and friends and devote more of my energy in the afternoons or in the evenings or whenever that part of the day or day is. So you have to make those logical decisions and think about it. And I don't give my business to anybody, guys. If you're talking to me, you better know your stuff. You better be an expert at what you do, because I'm at a point in my business where I just don't give it to anybody. So back to this document, and we'll close up here soon, going into 16 minutes. We're doing good on time. So over here, less than the 700 may work only due to high balances on revolving accounts. Then you may still qualify. Get a credit partner with at least 10% ownership in the business, or in other words, a guarantor if you need to. That's the requirement for this credit card stacking program. Again, what we're doing, we're taking multiple business credit cards and we're adding them together, to sufficiently get you as much as we need to. And there's a step-by-step systematic way. There's actually secrets to doing this, a 4-step process and secrets that I will try to link you to that video that I spoke about on that 0% interest 4 secrets you must know about. I'll try to link it to you again down below in the description so you can learn more about this credit line hybrid and those 4 that I go into. But very quickly, as I have here, and I've helped out many people, you can't see, some of this is confidential. I can't show you those people, but I have the requirements on how you can get 50K to 250K. What does it take if you have 2 years time in business? What cards, what banks should you be going for? Let me just give you a quick piece of advice or a tip here. If you've been in business for over 2 years, a Wells Fargo up to 100K, no docs, online, personally guaranteed. Yes, PGs. Some of them have no PGs, but you have to build that relationship. How about going to a key bank where you get up to 50,000 and no docs? How about one up to 150K, no docs online with no PG? So it's not just about hearing and going, oh, well, I heard this one could work. It's about knowing. And I have myself and my team where we can go work on behalf of what you want. We can go and consider those with those right banks, and we do it systematically. And we look at them and doing, okay, how do we remove those hard pulls? Because we're shooting for multiple at once. We can remove these from those accounts, or they don't last as long. So then you're back out on the field doing it again. Instead of this whole, well, I wanted a 10K grant. I'm going to keep watching these people who get millions of views just to tell you again, here's another update on a grant. Here's another SBA EIDL loan. And I'm not laughing or bashing anybody. It's laughable in the sense of we're just waiting for a 10K grant to appear when what you're doing is avoiding the major diagnosis, which you don't want to hear. It's kind of like looking in the mirror. Oh, I got to change my character. My personality traits are getting in the way, which is the truth. When I work with a lot of business owners, the reason why they get cold feet, and I know the psychology, I've been there. We're not going to get into all that. I know how it goes, but it's character. Character gets in the way. We get it in a root of how we were brought up, what we are influenced by, our surroundings, externally, internally, that those make the decisions for us. And a lot of the times you act on emotion rather than logic 100%. And there should be a combination of them. But when making the right mathematical, the numbers, do they make sense? Do they not? And where do I need to begin? And so for many business owners, you're just masking the symptoms. There's a greater problem, and you have to sometimes get down to the biggest problem. It's not directly when I'm as an entrepreneur, when I'm looking for funding a business and I'm looking at funding my own businesses, I don't always just go straight directly to the major problem. I look at the above the surface level problems. Yes, there may be something even deeper, but we don't always have to begin there. There are other things, trials and tribulations that you are suffering with, that you are having troubles with. And it could be just an educational foundation. There's a deeper internal reason, but the foundation and even high and above is just an educational thing. And there's a few things that I'm asking why you're not doing that. Why are you doing it the way you are doing it? When I start to ask you why questions, I really start to dig up a lot more that maybe you didn't know or you just didn't want to share with me. So I'll go back into the document. I know this is a little bit off topic, but this is very important for you guys to understand, is that you're just masking the symptoms. Stop looking for another SBA loan. Oh, this guy told me an update on, and I'm giving you guys an update, but how much am I doing it recently? Not as much. And it's because I'm working with those business owners who are very serious, who they understand, Michael, now I know about the 3 C's of capital, so I got to work on my vendor credit. And if you don't have those 3 C's, vendor credit, establishing your vendor credit and making sure you go and apply to those U lines, those Grangers, getting those net 30s, net 60s, net 90s, net 45s, net 15s, whatever it is. But that's where you may have to begin. If you can't do a 401k, IRA financing, you can't do a home equity line of credit, you can't do none of this. You're over leveraged. You don't have nobody who can help you. You don't have these things. You don't have none of it. Friends and family, you're going to rely on me to give you 20,000, 30,000. I've helped out my younger brother before with a home. So I know what it takes. And so for many of you, let's not mask the symptoms. Let's get back on topic. And I'll go to the comments in a moment. Appreciate you. Thank you, Gerardo. So here, the credit line hybrid, how would you like to get up to 150,000, if not 250K with corporate credit cards and unsecured no doc? This meaning you don't have to provide any kind of collateral, which is great. There's some personal loan options, we'll get into that, where it doesn't require collateral either. If you do have collateral, a home, and it's more beneficial, I'll communicate those things with you. But you can liquidate the cash out of these cards and use them for any investments you choose. Let me bring that up to a 16, and let me put this in red. For many of you who are watching this right now and will be watching later, pay close attention. So being able to liquidate the cash out of these cards, that's the cash cow. That could bridge the difference between you having no money and money in your accounts. Cash flow is what we talk about, profitability, making sure that you make the right decisions in business, not just trying to grow and expand a business and not keeping track of this. Now you're negative, you have very little profits. And when you try to go get an SBA loan and you try to do more with your business plans, it doesn't end up working and it ends up going backward. Now you got to start fresh again. But if you don't know this, it's another thing. So it's strictly made to help you get funding based on using your personal credit. Yes, you have to use your personal credit when you're doing business credit through vendor credit, EIN, and there's other ways where it's not impacting your Social Security, and that may be where we have to begin. So yes, no bank statements, personal, business, bank statements, business plans, resumes, or any other burdensome documents that request that most conventional lenders demand, SBA loan lenders, etc. Here's the best part. You can get an approval with introductory rates as low as 0% interest for 6 to 18 months, giving it, the best terms in the country. Free money. Well, Michael, I don't know if I have a plan to use this. Well, get a plan together, because I'm telling you, even if it's free money, I know a lot of people who disregard how to use their funds. The ultimate question that I ask myself in my business is, if I'm generating ads, if I'm generating revenue in this way, is like, if I'm already recognizing this pattern, it's all about pattern recognition, guys. I was in a mastermind just the other day, and this was the topic of discussion, and I was listening more than anything. Listening throughout the entire thing myself. There's times when I can speak, there's times when I don't have to, and they know me. And so listening to people saying that, and I know this already, I'm just giving it back to you guys. I knew this even before they even said anything. I knew this way before they probably even knew it, is you have to, excuse me, there's a fly. You have to know what you're using these funds for, because so many of you are taking these funds and getting like these merchant cash advance or cash advance hybrids with medium to higher rates, and then digging yourself up another hole to get another advance, thinking that that's the main use of it, just to get yourself out of another one. And then you look for debt consolidation, reverse debt consolidation. There's other words for it, but they're not feasible. And even if they were, then you're having to pay somebody else back after they help pay you down. They give you a little bit per day, per week, and then you're back to where you were, square one, if not more pricier. And ask me how you're going to pay that. How will you pay that? You may be able to, you may not. But those of you who take those and they grow it and expand their revenue, that's the purpose of it. And you don't want to take out too many at once, but sometimes you just grow so fast, you take out a little bit. Oh, but I can't wait to 50% of the funds. I can't wait 45 days. Boom, 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 boom. I need another, but I need to at least know. But not for everybody. You shouldn't always have to do that. You can come back to me. I work with the best. Again, I have those personal and business relationships with. And so many of you, I know some of you in here watching, not Gerardo. Gerardo's doing his thing. I know what he's up to. But for many of you and others who I know what you guys are up to, a lot of you are hiding. A lot of you are like Homer Simpson behind the bushes, or you're like Casper the Unfriendly Ghost. Not friendly, could be, but you're just disappearing. You're out in the thin air. And I very much value character. Gerardo knows this. I value that heavily, heavily. And character versus reputation are two different topics. I'm going to go into that at the end of the video, but let's continue on with this. So, benefits, 24-hour pre-approval, 0% interest for 6 to 18 months. Business credit can also be used to help you qualify. Flexibility, you can use the funds to do what you need to for your business. Even startup business can qualify. If I didn't say that, I apologize. True no-doc financing program. Application to funding in 3 weeks or less. I've seen 2 to 3 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks, 3 to 5 weeks, generally 2 to 3 or so weeks, depending on how much we can get you and your profile, etc. No upfront application fee. So for those of you asking, Michael, what will it cost me? I'll get into that in a moment, but no upfront application fee, no hidden cost. Credit approvals up to $150,000 per individual. We can go even deeper with corporate credit. There are certain questions that if you can say yes to, we can get you more funding. I won't talk about that right now. I may talk about it in another video. I'll link you guys to down below. No collateral requirements. So yes, unsecured, not secured. Ability to use a credit partner or credit partners to qualify if needed. So this is a very unique situation where, like I said, if you have somebody who owns 10% of the business, it can be a friend, family, some business partner who's, your business partner. That's why we said 10%. Over time, if you want to qualify for more, we can introduce them to this, and then you guys can work in partnership in ways to get more access. So this is pretty cool. No cash flow requirements. So no, we don't ask for how much money is coming in versus how much is going out at the specific period. Let me look at the P&Ls. Let me look at the balance sheets. I'll look at the bank statements, et cetera, can help you build or improve your business credit score. At the end of the day, for those of you in here like, well, I don't know if I want this. You should, because business credit is going to be getting reported depending on what cards, what issuers, what is showing. And this is going to explode your business. And it did it for me, getting up to 50,000, getting 20,000, 10,000 initially, growing into 100,000 and above for my other businesses as well. And for many of you asking, is it well worth it? Yes, it is, because you're maximizing your reach. And now you will not only have a personal credit score, but you have business credit scores that are reporting. And you can use those usages up as much as you can, as long as you make sure you make the payments on things when you have to make the payments. Many don't report to personal credit, but some will. It just depends on certain factors where you are. Qualification, 700 plus credit. We used to have 680, but I would get into this as soon as possible. For those of you in here on the fence, hey, I have 700 credit on all 3 consumer credit bureaus. I've done something like this, or I've heard of something like this in the past, but they weren't receptive. They had terrible customer service. I didn't trust them. I didn't hear what I wanted to hear exactly. Even if it's not what I wanted to, they weren't steering me in the right direction. Guys, you have someone here in the door who really works with the best lenders and underwriters. Literally, I do this every single day. But I don't want tire kickers. I don't want energy and inefficient people. None of that. I don't put up with it. You shouldn't either as a business owner. I'm sure you have a lot of things you do in your business. I do too. I have to still wear multiple hats in my businesses for certain things. Yes. And I'm not hiding that. But the thing is, too many business owners are out there just trying to mask their symptoms. And don't bring your bad, rotten attitude to me. Come here with problems. Great. I'm going to put my arm right around your shoulder. You're not across the table from me. You're right here. We bring you into a boardroom. Sit right next to me. We're going to talk about a few things. I'm not even talking business stuff. But the thing is, with me, you will be taken care of. But if you can't even take care of yourself, how can I take care of you? So first and foremost, character, but taking care of yourself matters. Putting in the effort, controlling what you can't control, your attitude and your effort. Credit card with 3 years old with a 5,000 plus limit, it must be a primary card. Minimum of 2, in the number 2 I put here. Open revolving accounts within a year and a half of good payment history, under 40% utilization on all revolving accounts. No more than 4 unsecured accounts open in the past 12 months. No more than 4 to 6 inquiries per bureau in the last 6 months, preferably less. No bankruptcies within the past 7 years. No open, unpaid, in other words, collections, liens, or judgments. This program does require a personal guarantee from your credit partner if you used one. No authorized user accounts for qualification. We're not doing that. You have a joint user underneath your credit card or credit cards, and that's how they're going to go ahead and apply, and they should get access. That's not how it works. How it works in 4 simple steps. Complete the form for a one-on-one consultation with my internal team and a representative that will work with you on that part. And I'll also follow along in this process to help and maximize the amount you can get. Step 2, submit your application. There's a soft pull on your credit. Step 3, you get pre-qualified in as little as 24 hours. Step 4, then you meet directly with the advisors, myself, my team, and the people involved. If not myself, my team, and I'm somewhere there along the way as well to help you in understanding what part of the process you're in so I can communicate with you the right ways and get access to your credit lines. If you are not approved, you will find out why, as well as what you can do to get approved. There is a one-time success fee of 9.9% that is due after you have received access to your credit lines. If you don't get approved, you don't pay, period. Best of all, you can use your new 0% credit lines to pay the success fee. So no, the 0%, the 9.9, I like to say, like the little line above when you're doing math, and it continues. 9.9% is great because we're maximizing the amount you can get, and we're doing things on your behalf. And it's very structured. It's a very tedious process. Every client is different. So if we're looking at your file, we're saying, okay, this is what you already have on your credit reports. This is what's been reporting timely payments. This is what hasn't, or this is how long you've had credit history for. If you have had 2 years of this account reporting, you've had these kind of payments at this high amount. This is what's reporting on your personal side. And we can work on these. We can work and see if you have an LLC. Do you have an EIN? Do you have you a homeowner with at least 2 years of owning your own home, et cetera? There are a few things that we look at in the criteria, but doing it alone is not going to help. And you can try as much as you want. You probably go to the wrong sources and it'll lead you down the wrong path. You have to be very careful and wary of that. But the 9.9% part of it, again, we're maximizing the amount. It's kind of like the same as a personal loan. I'll get into that in a moment. But we are working with the experts, myself, my team, and we're maximizing the amount you can get. So the trade-off is much better. It's much more effective. And this is going to supply you for a longer term. It's not just one thing and then it never happens again. You can get access to more cards, raise your limits even much faster if you have the right relationships with the right relationship bank managers, which I'll show you and I'll recommend to you guys in this part of this program. And there's more to it, to that 9.9% that I can go into even deeper, but you got the understanding of it and I can communicate to you to that more, So let's go into another option. You have the personal side, which is not what a lot of business owners want to do, but it would be best because you may be only in position to. So here we could do personal business startup loan options. And one of these being my favorite, and not a lot of people know about this. There's others that tell you, hey, come get one, but you have to have a 680 in all 3 consumer credit bureaus. To some degree, yes, but others we just go 680 plus Experian. We can be a little bit more flexible if you have high balances, and we get you the best. These are the experts, myself included, with them, and I've helped out a lot of people get these. So best option for personal startup business funding, get a guarantor. Actually, here I have to move this. I'm going to do corrections on this, but get a credit partner, or in other words, what you should do is get a co-signer, somebody you file joint taxes with, and a spouse. You can get somebody else who can apply with their own credit and take on the debt underneath their credit profile if you need this to work. Make sure they trust you and you have everything together there, that you're going to go full throttle and it's going to work the way you think it will. And have a pattern recognition as well. And if it's not because you run another business, it's because you understand the market well. It's because you've done your research. And I'll try to leave more information down below on a specific service or a specific way you guys can understand how to do better market research and get better as a business owner. At the end of the day, I want you guys to grow better as a person and as a business owner. Who you are in your business is a self-reflection of who you are, period. When I leave here, I'm going to go take a break. I'm going to relax, probably pet Chip, which is my little brother's dog's name, and just sit there for probably a couple minutes to recalibrate and then come back and do more work. But what I want to say here, best option for stretching out your terms and for lower rates, it helps depositing frequency. If you're not depositing every single day, this could be a game changer for many of you. You're a trucking business owner, you're another construction business, and you have you're a subcontractor. There's subcontractors you're paying the contracting company who's keeping you on, and da-da-da-da-da. So when you get money, you got to pay them 50%, 60%. And then this is how much you keep. Cash flow is very low. And you're just trying to think about how you can maximize your terms. There's so many businesses I can make an example of this, but your depositing frequency is probably once every week, once by week. And then at the end of a month, maybe you make 2 to 3 last deposits instead of doing it day by day like restaurants and retail and other businesses do. But you have to look at it and go, if I can't even qualify for this credit base, I may just go get this revenue base. But it's not just saying I'm going to go and click on a link, or I'm just going to go and click on the link that was sent to me from an email that wasn't me. And if it is me, just ask me a question if you would like to respond right then and there. And or all these lenders who are bombarding you that are not coming from me, I get that. I've been there and done it, guys. My head is heated right now because there's so many problems with that. Be very careful of what you guys accept, period. Now, let me jump right back into this. We'll close up here. We're going into 35 minutes. Try to keep it underneath 45 minutes if possible. But here, 680 plus FICO Experian. Yes, 700 and above can help when you are trying to look for personal lines of credit, maximizing business credit cards, and a few more things. And make sure you skip this until you have yourself the credit needed, or you have somebody else who can apply with their own individual credit. Yes, you can work on your own credit, and I'll leave personal credit resources as well as personal credit repair, what I believe to be the best. And be very careful for those of you in here wondering, well, Michael, what do I have? I'm not going to get into the credit repair, but I have a great personal and business relationship with this gentleman. Very cool. He's British. And if it ever changed, I may show you another one, but he's pretty cool. He's out in Los Angeles, and we connect from time to time. He's recommended me on different platforms. I'm very thankful and grateful. I really am. And that many of you, like Gerardo and others who are in here and who will be watching later and who even haven't, I'm very grateful for each and every one of you. And so with this person, I'm able to help you reinstall your credit, making sure that anything that needs to get reported correctly gets reported, anything disputed, anything derogatory, and you're saving money as opposed to some of these others that I won't name them, but they might be charging you a lot more. There's lawyers involved, there's attorneys, there's this, and you're just racking up a lot of costs that it's like a package when you go and get your LLC or something else that's similar, and you're like, I don't even need that higher package, or I don't need it at least now. But it's not to say this is degraded. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is exceptional, if not better than those other services, way better, but you get a better way of getting in and what you can do. So I won't speak too much about that. I'll leave it down below. I'll probably leave it in this document. I think, yeah, it is in this document that I put together for you guys. So you want to do that. 50K in annual revenue, sometimes 35K, and verified by taxes or pay stubs, W-2, what way you can verify. Usually we take personal tax returns myself that I review with myself and my team. 0 time in business, but requires at least 5 trade lines. Oh, there's no catch there. No, there isn't a catch. The thing is, if you don't have meat potatoes to your dish, you don't have the side dishes to it, you don't have the everything that you need there, then how do we know you will be able to pay us back? You guys got to build those trade lines. Yes, there are ways of getting trade lines. I won't speak about that right now. But 20,000 to 500,000 in approval amounts, 700 plus Experian is best. That's what's preferred to get you in the door. But 680s we can consider. Usually it's a difference between high balances. A lot of those reasons, with them 680 to 700 is what I see. There are some other things too, but that may be enough. It's 680 minimum, may still not be, because we have to look at everything. How many inquiries have you had? And there's so many things. I'm going to actually speak to some of the files that came in recently. Let me look at my other tab here that I got from my underwriting, just so you guys are aware of what could happen in case you don't get approved for. So you could be getting disapproved for these reasons. And you guys can't see this on the screen. Let me move this over, have it in my other tab that I've compiled from my underwriters as well on a document, just so you guys know, and things that I see as well, myself included. So here we can decline you due to having a recent installment / term loan with a higher balance. If that balance is just too high, we're basing this off of debt to income on your credit side. And if it's just too high, how can we give you more? How can we give you as much as you want? That's the question. Number of inquiries you probably have been applying, whether it's soft inquiries or not. You're racking up too many inquiries per credit bureau, per just one, Experian, etc. And perhaps you have a history of late payments. That could be one thing. So that's just one of many. There's many more things that I can get into. But let me see here. I want to make sure. Let me bring up another one. You guys aren't seeing this. This is very confidential information. And I just want to make sure. I'll show you guys another example here. Let you guys know about one. Okay. So another reason, and there's many more, it's due to too many recent inquiries. So there are many more problems, but let me go back into this document. 6% to 18% cost of capital, which is the interest, 24 hours, 1 to 2 weeks, time to approve and fund. Soft pull initially for pre-approval. To get hard offers, it's a hard pull, which is standard. You can decide then if you want to move forward. Once initial contracts are signed and all documents are collected, it's a hard pull to get you soft offers, and then develop that into a hard offer, which then you can decide if you want to move forward. Note the origination fee here, 15%, which I know it sounds high. We can lower it to 12%, but we are working with myself and the experts to get you the best. The terms 1 to 5 years, lower interests, as opposed to those cash advances, which you can or can't qualify for. Maybe they are best and your only option, but no collateral, max funding. You walk into a bank, you get limited amount, as opposed to over here, you're getting as much. And the benefit has to exceed the repayment for what you're doing. Have less than 35% utilization, minimal recent inquiries, strong credit history, no recent negative items, based on debt to income ratio, Try not to have many recent new trade lines. Try not to have 2 other loans you just took out, as it can raise your DTI, and utilization to get you nothing or perhaps way less. We can try to combine it with a business loan, advance equipment loan, real estate loan separately if it's feasible and your DTI is low enough and they don't consider that as highly. You can use it as a down payment. I go into for personal lines of credit. I'm going to speed through this, guys, but I'll try to leave this down below. If not in the questionnaire, what would be required, how to get started. It should all be in there. You can even get started from there. The application link is very safe and secure. Another option, I may say that, or I may not recommend it, which I wouldn't recommend usually. You'll see that, the credit line hybrid. Now up here, and we're going to close up here. I wanted to get to this one. So there are online bank term loans where right here, this doesn't usually involve collateral. It could at some points if you're just too high of a risk. They could take a UCC lien. They could take a filing on your home. They may want to collateralize that. And the underwriting may take a little bit more. It's more extensive. They'll look at cash flow and a few more things. So there's an analysis that we do. And for the loan size, it might not be enough. It's probably limited up to 350 usually. It's not so high. And even if you couldn't get more than 350,000, it usually wouldn't be my best place to begin just because it has the words bank term loan. Offers you can get between 30,000 to 350,000. Your choice of 2 to 3 or 5 year repayment terms. You get monthly repayments. There are no prepayment penalties. You get fast loan funding, typically within 2 weeks. So if you needed funding faster, this probably wouldn't be your best solution. Fixed annual interest rates at 6.99%, but in this market, we see 7.55. 8% is going to be rising, I think, here soon. So 8% plus 2 to 6%, early teens, 7 to 15% or so. It can go even higher than that. Leniency on your use of proceed options. Term loans can support construction, remodeling, and more. The eligibility, have a minimum of 2 years' time in business, be a U.S.-based business owned by a citizen or lawful permanent resident. FICO, 660 or higher. And in this market, certain industries, 660 isn't enough. They're looking for like 670, 680, 675 plus. Have no outstanding tax liens. Your minimum annual revenue requirements of 250,000. Your business must not have bankruptcies or foreclosures in the last 3 years. No recent charge-offs or settlements. Your business must have appropriate cash flow to support loan payments. So if you're that business who doesn't have enough cash flow, and we can look at cash flow in many ways, one of those being your average daily bank balances, average monthly balances. We want to know on an average day, how much do you retain in your account? We can see how much goes out. We can see how much comes in. How much do you keep? For how many days do you keep? We do our mathematical numbers and crunching, and we look at it and say, well, if you had an average of 20,000 and over 90 days, over 1 month, this is what you had averaged. Okay, this is what we all look at with those 3 or so months, and we can make a better determination of. So cash flow analysis, if you don't have as much, you don't retain as much. Even if you did, this probably wouldn't be my best option, especially when you can do another one. So I'm going to get into that in a minute here, but here are some of the things. Here's what it can be used for. I'm just going to speed through this. And eligible for startup, you can't. House flipping or real estate development, refinancing, personal debt, floor plan, financing. And here's a little bit more general eligibility. For-profit business, proceeds, working capital, debt refinance, equipment purchases. Minimal annual revenue requirement, 250K. Individuals owning 20% or more of the business must be U.S. citizens or legal permanent residents. Credit, good personal credit, minimum 660, but it could be higher now. Business credit score, liquid, 155 or greater. So you should have business credit for those of you in here who are trying to get these. No business credit, it's not going to be in your best interest. Public records, search for business owners, no bankruptcies in the past 3 years, no foreclosures in the last 3 years, no open tax liens or outstanding judgments. And here, cash flow analysis is what we look at. You can see very quickly, barriers to fund. There you see that. Extra, we do the global debt service coverage ratio, and we do it on the business debt service coverage ratio as well. And I'm just going to speak through this, SBA loan options. But another way you can get, if that doesn't work, or if you can't qualify, we're gonna get here right now, going fast on time. I usually don't speak this quick, guys. I want to end this underneath the video, an hour. SBA 7A with a certain lender. You see there, it could take 4 to 8 weeks. If you're a startup, it could work, but if you don't have the right requirements, it wouldn't. For non-startups, I have everything bit of information there. I won't go through it right now, but you can see that's an alternative. The bank term loan can be faster funding in the meantime while you're trying to get an SBA loan, etc. And some questions that I would ask for, what the details of it are, the requirements, the processes, and when I would ask for documentation, why I would ask for that, maybe some ballpark numbers, like if 200,000 minimum, I've amortized over 10 years. Here's some examples, but we still need to look a little bit more. And how to start, what documents would be required, when do I need them, when will I ask for them, business lines of credit, whether you can or can't qualify. Not everybody does. So right now it's very conservative market, asset-backed. So it's best when you're doing lines of credit to work on your business credit side and getting revolving business credit cards, and the rest you can use if you don't have enough leverage with those. But up here, let me end up on this video and we'll get going. So for qualifications on revenue-based financing, this is the last component, and we'll get going. For those of you in here who are like, well, I don't want medium to high rates. Well, if you guys didn't hear in the beginning and you're just joining me, we spoke about credit, cash flow, collateral. So if you already are over leveraged or you're just looking for an option that doesn't exist, my question is, why are you still searching? If you and I have spoken, I'm not here to do what's in my best interest. Literally, I'm not doing this for a payout. This is a passion project, and I've been in this industry long enough to know these things for different industries. Real estate investors, I know we're not speaking too much, but the 0% interest is a great one for real estate investors. You have a new construction project, you have a fix and flip, you have distressed properties, you have multifamilies, you have apartment complexes, foreign national, like commercial property. At the end of the day, it's not always what you want, it's what you need. Or you can look at it both ways. It's what you don't get doesn't mean it is bad. It's where you have to start and grow and develop. And I have a plan for each and every one of you. And not feeling entitled as a business owner. See, I wasn't given anything growing up. Yes, I was put into a middle class, upper middle class later on. But the thing is, my family, Hispanic family, they didn't live in a house in the beginning. They had to live in an apartment complex and a shady neighborhood. I remember those neighborhoods back in California, the Hawaiian Gardens of the world. Oh man, I don't want to even get into that. My younger brother, more or less, we're 6 years apart. And I saw what my parents had to go through. Then having to live with them, they had to live with their family, their brothers and sisters. And they were more than happy to bring them in for the meantime until they were able to get their own home and do things and be able to grow and provide for us. So by no means was I ever gifted a business. I wasn't even taught to start a business. I was taught to go to school academically, succeed, and then go work a 9 to 5, get a 401k IRA, get a Social Security and rely on that money, sit on it, bust my butt off, work hard for someone else who may have not helped me grow. So now when I go to business and I look at them and I see a business owner, I want to get to strip down and know who they are. Were you given a business? Were you brought into a family? Because I'm not bashing you if you were at all. I'm just saying don't feel entitled just because you were given something. If you aren't shown to how to work for your things and you just expect everything to come to you, then you have some misconstrued conceptions, and we need to change that very, very quickly. So back to this topic, and we'll close up here. You're operating for-profit, nonprofit does not qualify. And this is for a cash advance type of product with medium to higher rates. And this is where we give you an amount based on your future receivables, and you pay back a certain percentage. It can be higher if you make more sales one day, lower if you make less, or it can be a fixed percentage or a daily amount, usually daily or weekly. Monthlies don't exist. Bank term loans, you got to see monthly. If you want monthly SBA loans, you have the business credit lines, traditional business credit lines of credit, excuse me, that's what I wanted to say. Those are even weekly right now and hard to get approved for. So you have the personal / startup loans, you have the credit line hybrid, business credit cards, personal credit cards, installment loans, term loans, personal lines of credit, etc., home equity loans, whatever you're trying to do there. You have the equipment loans, and that's pretty much a huge majority of them. But there are a few more of them, but it's just that's what you see. So back to this. Based on your future receivables, and this is going to be usually daily or weekly. Yes, I know how that sounds, but for the majority of you who do have this option and you go, well, it is the best benefit. I'm going to take this money. I'm going to double, triple, quadruple my money. I'm not just going to sit on this money, have it for 10 years. That's not the point of it. And you usually see 4 to 24, if not 3 to 24 months. Here, you have a business checking account, must be in the name of your business, not in a personal account used for business. If you're using a personal account for business, go to the self-employed section option down below. It's in green heading, as you see right here. And not transferring funds from personal to business, that does not count as stated, true revenue, organic. Online banking is set up, 450 plus credit, although 500, 550 plus is best. I'm not going to get into all of these whys right now, guys. I want to speed through this. But 4+ months time in business. If you're a startup, then go to the green heading that reads personal / business / startup loan option 1 and go through those below it as well. 3 months of revenue, at least 5K plus per month. And on your lowest month, 5K. At least 3 to 4 plus deposits per month is best. The more is the better. You're depositing your funds into one primary business checking account, not transferring between multiple accounts. If you have multiple business checking accounts, we'll look at them and more. So I'm just going to quickly speed through these. Current loan consideration, I talk about non-sufficient funds, no more than 5 NSFs for short or negative days in the last 3 months. Current loan consideration, if you have a current capital advance, I won't get into all that. I may leave this document down below, or I can show you this in a questionnaire. Consolidation, for example, I can give you some of those. Background checks. I also not have issues with financial fraud, past default, and past default judgment in place. Submitted altered bank statements to another lender. Application process, bada boom, bada bang, simple. Our amounts, I give you guys some examples on what it would look. But I can do it based on yours if you fill out that questionnaire. If you have, I'll get back to you guys soon. So here it is. I show you guys. Very structured, guys. I'm a very structured person. So when you guys open up these emails, you go, oh, how did the, my goodness. And I've iterated this over many years. So I show you guys some examples on what would happen, the underwriting guidelines, what to expect for different ballpark numbers, different lenders, different providers, perhaps underwriting guidelines on how we look at things and evaluate them. The self-employed, 1099 gig worker, contractor funding, small business funding. If you have lower revenue, it's not even a credit check on these. And then we can do these for other small businesses, etc. So those are the details. Online bank term loans. Let's quickly pass this and we'll close up. So you saw these already. Business lines of credit, equipment loans. I have those. And there's more to this one, especially when you fill out the questionnaire, but they might not be your best. So I'll tell you that not to look at those. Personal funding, credit line hybrid, we already went into it. Equity crowdfunding, here's SBA microloans. Then we have the Community Advantage Program, angel investors. I work with all of these. And venture capitalists that I know about. Other options, margin account, financial guarantee bond, fixing, increasing your credit, credit repair. Over here, you have building your business credit through vendor credit. Again, if you don't have the 3 C's of capital, building your vendor credit is a huge leverage. And then we can work into revolving credit lines and do more with that. Business credit cards, I give you guys some video examples here on what to do, what not to do. Home equity line of credit, home equity loans, going to your own bank. What other recommendations? 401k IRA financing option, as well as stocks and more. SBA EIDL Loan Updates, perhaps a employee retention credit, and a conclusion on what to do and how there could be more. Okay, so just underneath an hour. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to have some closing and parting thoughts, but let me read this from Gerardo. And I like the picture. Looks like you've been traveling. I can see the trees in the background. And so maybe that's Washington, right? But yes, we need to change our attitude and be on top of our game. See, myself or Gerardo doesn't need to say this. He's not saying it directly to me. He knows he's saying this to every one of you. And I know how it sounds, guys. I said this in the beginning. I don't want to sound redundant. But if you have no options on the table, what should you do? There is the vendor credit, but aside from your business, what do you think is the major problem causing all of this? It's going to hurt. It's you. You have control over these things. Now, why it's so sporadic for some people, it's because of the character. And this is where I'm going to end. The character is the person, the personality traits of that individual in their own personal life. You wouldn't think so, but it does. All the things you do here, whatever aspects, how do you wake up in the morning? What do you do? Well, I open my eyes. I usually have the ceiling to look at. I know, for those of you in here being funny, we'll entertain that. But I wake up, let me give you guys an example. I wake up in the morning, and I'm going to end it here. Okay, guys? I wake up in the morning, and I'll fold my bed sheets. If I'm the first one up, usually I want to be the last one so I can do it. And I'm normally doing it every single day. I have a habit of this. I'm like an old man in a 30-year-old body, literally. Why am I going to wait to be 60 or 70 to be or act old or be that wise? I mean, I'm not older than certain people, of course, and they've developed a lot more experiences. But the thing is, I wake up in the morning, I do what I need to, I drink a little bit of water, go to the bathroom, do my thing, brush my teeth, and then I come back in to my room. I stand there. Well, usually I'll look outside my window because I have a great view. I've earned this. And so I'll look out in my window. I'm sorry, I'm just having those thoughts, how grateful and thankful I am on my day. And I don't get too emotional. I'm very controlled. But I look out there and I remind myself, and I think to myself, what kind of a day will this be? And how grateful I am to be in this position to help each and every one of you to have put my position or my businesses in the position that they are in today and continuing to grow even more with more goals. But I'll stand there, I'll close my eyes, calibrate my mind, say 3 things that I'm grateful and thankful for. For those of us who are not here, for those of us who are here, for being able to open my eyes and be able to think another day, because not everybody gets that. Everybody would wish they had that. I'd say those 3 things, there's 3 things that I pick out. And then what I end up doing is just asking questions right after that. I ask, hi, how are you doing? How are things? How's your life? How are you living? What would you like to improve? What would you like to see done differently, if anything? And I know it sounds kind of out there, and it really isn't. But then after that, I count backwards from about 10 to 1. And that just opens up my mind even more. And thereafter, depending on the day, maybe I'll do some I usually do push-ups. I get into I do my yoga stuff, my bridges. I'll do some stretching just to open up my body. Now that my water's in my body, it's opening up my vertebrae, my discs, my joints, and more. Push-up, or I'll stretch, do push-ups, and then I'll meditate for however long that takes. But I just sit there and I just let everything go clear. No noise. No, if there's noise, I plug it out. And I'm ready to go, happy as ever. And then that's where I go into reading. I go into reading my books. I have my notepad right here. Look, 320. Can't really see it right now. But I wrote 3 things today that I'm grateful for. And I put them on paper. I journaled for a little bit. And I've been doing them every single day. 317, 318, 319, 320. And before, I haven't missed it for almost 2 to 3 or so plus years. No more than that. About 3.5, 4. There are some days where I will miss it. I know that because I have to get moving on some things, but very rarely do I. And it's just something to be very noticed on. And so, again, I'm a very observant person. And this is just what I believe a lot of people should have is the character. Work on if you're stubborn, if you have an ego, if you let yourself get in the way. Sure, but please don't bring that into an application. If we can't work on you right now, just please don't bring that into an application sequence, because it does show when people come in, they either do something that they shouldn't have done, or they just like this and just, I told them what to do and what not to do. And even if I didn't, it goes without being said. And just, and it causes a lot more energy and time inefficiencies. And it's way sporadic. But we leave that out the door. And if you don't have that, great. Come on in. It's fine either way. But it's very important you guys work on yourself first. I know maybe not a lot of people tell you that, but not because I'm sitting behind a desk and I'm this person. I used to work certain jobs. I used to work a machine in aerospace. I used to pump out the tooling, the dying out of a machine. I used to have to put the oil back in, clear the tank, put things back in and get in there, use the wrench for a certain amount of things. And so I had my days when I was young in my 20s. I wasn't saying that was my best. That wasn't suited for me at all. But you have to learn these things. I was in partnership with the owners, learning about what they were doing, more so about what they were doing, like I said, 50-50 split or nothing like that. I was working with them, helping them, going into their office, having a meeting. They would bring me in. They see more value from that and much more. I'm happy to hear it, Gerardo. Yeah, keep it up. And I know you told me last time you were, and I'm sure that's what the picture was for. It looks like you were on a hike though that day. You may have been running, probably got to the top of a mountain. And I got to do that myself. When the sun comes out more, it was sunny on Saturday, I want to say. Yesterday it started raining. But when it gets sunnier, I'm definitely going outside and going to Beacon Rock here, going through some trails with some friends and family. I will be trying to go out to some lakes. Of course, we have great ones here in Washington, the river, the ocean. I want to go up north, especially to a Marionberry patch. It's pretty cool. You can go north, not towards Seattle exactly, but venturing off in a different direction from here. And they have this great, it's not like an actual farm, but they have this place where they sell like what I believe to be one of the best Marionberry pies I've ever had in my life. And I haven't had too many. So for those of you in here who are like, I run a pie, I'm the cake boss. But it was just an amazing time. So once the sun comes out more, I'm going to be walking a lot more, getting more exercising, I guess you could say, although I'm doing that a lot. But I'm happy to hear it. And you're running every day. That's pretty good. It is. It's a lot of game-changing stuff. And it does this, right? If the physical part comes with things, like we know this, guys and girls, we know this, that it's not about the physical attributes as much as it is here. Meet me here. I want to know what you guys are made up of here. See, if I meet this bodybuilder, this chiseled guy, which a lot of girls are attracted to, not all of them, but I mean, go for it if that's your thing. But the thing is, I want to know if they can meet me here. See, we may be built differently genetically. Wasn't gifted, was a Division I player, but that shows because I have a lot of hard work and I worked smart. And I was a center midfield player, and so I knew how to bring everybody into the game, and I knew how to move things without even having the ball. Or when I had the ball, where did the ball have to go? Because I didn't have to run too much. I knew where I had to be. I know where the ball had to be before it got to me, when it got to me. I knew all of these little steps. That's how observant I was and how I got to the highest level. And so with all that said, it's just working smart and hard to eventually just work smart. You can keep working hard, keep working in your businesses, but work outside of it. Look at it from a bird's eye view on the inside. And yes, I think that's everything I want to leave here for you guys today. I know I went on a little bit there. I usually don't talk much like that. I'm not a talker. I'm an introvert. It's just video I know helps a lot of you. But I hope that is a reality check for many of you as well. But if it's something that you thought was aggressive and negative, I don't know why you're looking at it that way, because I'm not that person. You may just be feeling hurt about it. And if you're hurt, that's good. Hurt to change, and changing in a more positive, in a bigger way, it requires hurt. It requires you to look inside. You can always make iterations of what is already working, whether that's small or big. But if something deeply hurts and it's rooted in a lot, and you're willing to make that change, that's going to help you not only just grow in your business, but as a person. And you have to get uncomfortable, because nothing grows in your comfort zone. Now, pushing yourself to something where you're not ethical, or you're not the person who you wanted to be, now that's a little bit different. But becoming someone different in a great way, you don't do that by staying in your comfort zone, guys. Period. I've trained kids in soccer and different sports. I had coaches who always believed in me and my team. I was a leader in my team and what I had to do. I didn't have to say it all the time. People knew with my actions. They knew. And if I said something, they better hear it and they better listen. Because order is very important. Discipline is going to get you guys there, period. So whatever part of the business you guys are in right now, it's not usually going to be where you are in the future, good or bad. But discipline will definitely take you to the next level. It'll take you to partnerships you would have never been able to imagine. Me, I would never have been able to imagine that I had the right those lenders that I had, certain lenders that reached out to me instead of me reaching out to them, people trying to bring me people so I can help them. And if that's something you have, please do so, and I can help you. I can help you as well. But don't talk about it and not do anything. Don't be that. No, nobody's got time to hear that. Nope. Don't even send it to me in an email. Well, I'm going to act on this today, Michael. No, you're just acting, period. And so if you're like that, nobody's got energy and time for it. I'm not mean. I'm not bashing anybody, but just be realistic that I have to spend my energy and time effectively. All right, everybody. Appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. If you did get value from this, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with others so you feel will find value out of it. It can be a complete stranger, a friend, or a family member, but at the end of the day, you were able to help them out. They can rest their head safely and securely, subconsciously and consciously on that pillow, literally on that white, fluffy pillow they can lay their head on and not have any other distractions or thoughts, but just to dream away. And very good. And wake up feeling refreshed. Literally, we all want that. And you made a difference in their lives. Through me, you were able to do that yourself. And that's impact. That's value. That's, hey, I don't know the exact way to get this funding, but I know this guy, Michael, who does. He won't BS you. He's really nice. Don't waste his energy and time because he's very punctual and disciplined. You don't have to say that, but he's not like anybody else you'll work with or you have ever worked with, period. And I'm putting that right now. So if you haven't subscribed either, please go ahead and do so. And click that bell notification icon so you do not miss any future content I will be coming out with. And again, all information down below in the description for that 0% interest. Maybe that document we went over today should be there, the questionnaire form, other things to look out for. But yes, that is everything from me. Let's have a great reminder. Let's have a great remainder rest of the week. See, I'm caught up in my words now, thinking of that. So yes, let's have a great rest of the week, everybody. Full throttle. If you need my help, please reach out. But I'm going to do what's in your best interest. I'll help you out. And how I do things, very energy and time effective. All right, everybody. Take care. Thank you.